All right. All right. Start in 8 minutes. So if you're watching on the live stream, fast forward 8 minutes. Kind of want to get started early, to be honest. But we'll wait to 7. Do it proper. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All right. 5:55. There's the setup. Oh wow. It's getting off the roof there. There's the setup. Drawing nymphs and satyrs tonight. Five minutes remain. I don't know why I'm waiting. I might as well just get started. Well, Okay. Back on the drawing horse. Three minutes. Let's tilt her down. There we go. 2 minutes. If there's anybody out there, thanks for joining in. Try not to lean too far forward today. All right. Twenty seconds. On with the show. So, the image that I have of Boogie's nymphs is actually the contrast, brightness, and saturation are increased from what it is in real life. So it's a little bit more intense. I'm gonna do a 5 value study, and for the most part, this thing is dark. There's just a little lightness over in the corner here. So, hey, hello, Keith. I'm gonna do a tiny, tiny little study here. Let me just get off into the corner. Just to get an overall simplification of the values. We've got the trees in the back. So squinting down, I'm looking for just simple shapes right now. the whole composition. And we'll see this reflected down below. There's kind of a diagonal here as well. Overall diagonal. So let's find our lightest area here. If I squint my eyes, it's just like a little bit bubbly and then kind of comes down. So I don't have to get the anatomy perfect here. This is just going to be shapes. And I'm going to shoot this week for one more value, 5. Last week I just tried to do 4. I'm going to do 5 because she's got incredibly light highlight, but most of it's dark. Okay. Separate it into a quadrant. See how we do here. The satyr is around here. His arm, the light arm. His hooves, those are pretty dark. Bright little foot behind his hoof. So just a wedge shape is fine. Just finding my way around right now. Light and dark shapes. So that I can look up at this. Oh, forgot to set the timer here, sorry. Let's go. I'll just do this for 15 minutes. Maybe not even that detailed. Arm that goes up. I'll also be using the white for the brightest areas. And that tan tone, again, because I'm trying to work towards understanding painting. Arm goes down. Oh, it's touching his head. Her hair is dark. She's in shadow. This figure back here. Arm goes up. Okay. Darker hair. If I squint my eyes, actually, the hair is not that much lighter than this figure. This is actually pretty dark. So let's show that by going darker. It's all the leaves and the tree. Of course, they're not true black, but for the value study, I want to push things further. I'm actually going to be using a brush, a chamois, and not too much pencil in this drawing tonight. But because this is so small, I'm using it just for this little study. Hopefully we get a pretty good generalization and understanding of the layout from this. Whenever I look at these great painters, I'm always trying to figure out how they design, how they use values. Oh, he's got an arm. Dark complexion in the face. He overall is much darker. Probably because he's out in the sun all day. And these nymphs, these fairy-like beauty, perfection, just pale, pale characters. We'll make his leg darker. His hoof goes into the water. It's not pure black, but I'll make it dark. So the hair of these damsel nymphs is about mid-tone, and everything else is a little bit darker. He really made everything dark in this piece to pop the lightness of this lady in the front here. So, eyes. Dark. So you see even there, like, it doesn't take much to indicate a face. We'll do the same here. Nose, eyes. And it's dark. This is all mid-tone. Under her bottom, down her foot, is the dark lights. You know, she's in shadow, but she's also more luminous than the rest. This is not going to be easy. But that's okay. That's why we're studying. All here is dark. The grass is dark. So I might try to leave a lot more of the paper to reflect their skin and just put a little bit of material on the shadow side. Right, her face is in shadow. Just a little bit of material. Under the arm is in shadow. There's a beam of light right behind. And there's this little bit of cloth right here. White cloth. That wraps around the body. This is all dark. I'm going to put a little white in to help show where the lights are. The arm, the foot, the lovely hourglass shape inside the leg. There's a little piece on her shoulder. Oops, right about there. A slight highlight on the back of his shoulder. Slight. Maybe even a little on his forearm. Her arms. And that triangle shape. Maybe a little on the leg. So not a whole lot of white. Darken some areas here just to separate that there is a shadow pattern on her body below the knee. This foot is just a mid-tone, and everywhere around it, it's darker. It helps it pop forward. It's all dark. It's a pretty dark piece. But I think that's a pretty good layout and plan. I'm gonna zoom out and let's go for the big boy. Whoop. Okay, where do I have to move now? All right. How's that? Okay. So, squinting the eyes, I'm gonna start with a little bit of charcoal and a brush just to map out. A lot of it's dark and I can really erase out those white lights. But even the skin tones on these nymphs are darker than the value of this overall. So I gotta just get some material down. So I'm just gonna brush it in. I'm gonna draw a little bit more painterly today than with a pencil. So I might lose her arm up to this little test. I'm gonna try to avoid the areas that, well, put my apron on today because I'm wearing nice pants. I don't want to get them covered in black. I think I'm gonna adjust this camera again so that you guys can see a little bit better, is my hope, but not my head. Okay, let's try that. So the arms and the legs somewhere over here. So I don't want to put any material if possible. So I'm not dusting the whole thing equally. I want to create like really blurry version of that. Here would be the satyr's leg coming down, all that grass down here. It's just going to start out blurry, very, very blurry, and build up, starting with the darks towards the lights. This is like half. This is satyr's body, his head. This nymph behind does have a little bit of tonal value, so let's put some on there. And then this lady in the back, she's definitely mid to dark, even though she's flesh tone and we think, well, they're so pale, it must be white. Not so. Okay. So I'm just going to blow this off. That's how we keep the studio. So I've got the girls down here, the other grouping here. There's the satyr's leg, and then that character. So I have, you know, a base from which to work. I'm going to use a little bit of vine charcoal at the start because it's very forgiving, just to kind of block out a little bit more of the simple shapes so that I know where I am. So I feel like her head might be around here. Let me just make sure that's the right material. Yeah. So I'm just drawing this big dark shape. I'm just going to start with the biggest, darkest shapes, I think, and go from there. Of course, they will become darker as I add more material. And the vine charcoal's quite light. That shape. Shaped by her legs. All the grasses. This is girl's knee. Maybe around there. We can always move it. Like somewhere around here, maybe. Maybe behind his back. I think I put his leg up a little too high. But just drawing the shapes. Simple, simple shapes. His chest. I think there's some grass behind him. His arm kind of comes down. I think her breast is about there. Who knows? It might change. Her hair. Probably drawing her too big. So I'm gonna put another 25 on the clock. And take a snapshot. Take a little break. I'm not gonna take a full 5 minutes, there's no need. All right. Hopefully get some people joining in today. So I've been listening to this Matthew McConaughey book. I'm going to listen while I'm drawing. I know people like the talking, but maybe I can do both. But it's not going to be such heavy talking like it was last time. because I'm gonna have to concentrate a lot more. This is, even though we're breaking it down simple shapes, it's still a very complex thing with 5 characters and all these values. So, just gonna listen to my book on tape, my Audible, and just keep plugging away at this. 25 minutes. This satyr's head is about a third. 1, 2, 3, yeah, about a third through this composition. Okay. Okay. Got that close figure, I think, for now. Get the satyr a little bit. Back arm. Oof. All right. So, I mean, I got 5 minutes left here. So I'm just working and just picking out the light and dark shapes as I move up to this dark figure in the back. So I'm not drawing and having structure. It's more like painted shapes. We'll just keep adding complexity on top of that. Because right now, looking at this piece on the screen, there's a lot going on. And I don't want to get too lost here, you know? Where is his ear? I'll just move it over. You know, this is training. This is not tracing. Yeah, it's probably not going to be perfect either. But training my eye is important for my career. All right. I'm going to take 5 here, in part to wash my dirty hands. Just have a little gander. She's looking pretty good. Oh man. So I'm just softening everything a little bit. Whoops. All right, Matthew McConaughey just said that iconic line of this book on tape. He's doing the Dazed and Confused line. He's a lot of fun to listen to. I would highly recommend this book, this all Audible. All right. Okay, softened up. So there's like off to the side, there's very faint people. If I squint my eyes, they almost disappear. So I've got my nitrum now, my preferred charcoal, and I'm just gonna draw them as you know, an impression of their shape. Come down beside her hair. It's a much warmer color charcoal. Let's just see here. That's about thirds too. It's just a little bit lower than the satyr's head is the top. Ah, that's just grass there. Oh man. Yeah. All right. Let's get this girl back up here. You know, at one time I really, really wanted to recreate this painting, but now I think it's out of my league. I think it's out of my league here. This thing is serious. Let's see here. 5 minutes. All right. It's working away. This paper's not holding on to the charcoal the way I'd like, so it's not going to be as dark. Maybe. Go wash my hands though. Gotta keep it clean in between. Oh, my mask. The ASMR is strong in this one. Nice, dude. If only you could hear the McConaughey. I've got these earbuds in, and I love it. I just like listening to this guy's voice. Let's see here. Hey. It's called Green Lights. So I'm about halfway through it, and I highly recommend it. Also, you know, when authors read their books, they have the intention of you know, how that's supposed to sound and what energy's in it. But you got to times that by 10 when it's like an actor like Matthew McConaughey. If you've ever gotten like a Stephen King audible, it's the worst thing in the world because Stephen King is not a good reader of his own work. And that voice, my God. But this Matthew McConaughey one is really good. Next, I'll be doing Obama, who we all know is a good speaker as well. Okay, so, I mean, I've had a bad day, a bad week, a bad year. But I'm feeling better, just doodling away here on this thing. Honestly, like, I didn't even want to show up. But, you gotta do it sometimes. You gotta just force yourself. So, I'm not trying to get perfection. I'm just trying to learn something. I did learn that I definitely don't want to paint this one. At this point in time, it would take me a year. But there's these beautiful, scraggly, loose bits in either side that whenever I see Bouguereau in person, it's so painterly. You get this effect that it feels like realism, but then always around the edges and with nature, it's almost like a different painter made it, and it just fuses together so nicely. Also, this thing would be huge, you know, like the size of my wall in the studio. I have seen some smaller versions of his paintings. I would like maybe copy his color studies, but you wouldn't, you know, I'm just scrabbling. Like this is all trees, so it's like, whatever. I should actually highlight out some more, erase out some more lights. There are some patterns behind the trees and up here. Behind her arm. She's holding on to a tree there too. So I'll take a break from the Matthew McConaughey, be a little bit more present here. Because I saw, honestly, like I didn't even feel like I was drawing. I was just transported into his stories. He's also a pretty incredible writer. He wanted to be a lawyer as well, so tend to be good communicators, people like that. I should have been a lawyer. Okay, let's see if I can back my body off here so you guys can see. Yeah, I just wasn't really feeling it for talking the whole time today. Just need some quiet time to myself. Holiday chaos is coming upon us. Bicep comes out a little further here too. The light hits where the armpit comes down, so just making those adjustments of value. I think, you know, the newsprint might have even done better than this paper in terms of holding on to this charcoal. This will all become white. Some reflected light on her belly up in there. I might have to use Conte or something for accents, dark accents, because that charcoal doesn't really want to stick on here. You know, his chest hair here could be enhanced darker. You know what? I realize his back is not far enough out. It should be in alignment with her face. So I'm just gonna start moving it over. He's got more lean. I think that's why her leg was a little bit hard to put in, because his body wasn't quite in the right place. So we'll just make that a little more slender. Make this a little thicker. His foot down here is catching the light. Goes a little bit behind his leg. Okay. This girl's all in shadow up here, like pretty much. So when I squint my eyes, she's dark brown, actually, if you're painting this, so I need to put more material. I can't allow the illusion to trick me. There's a lost edge between this girl's jaw and her neck, but not on this side where the hair is. Wow. It's actually fun to do these copies. I might do one more before the holidays. Maybe pick a different artist. This is one of those conditions too where it's like my appetite is bigger than what my stomach can fill. Like I'm like, yeah, I'll be able to do all these characters in this amount of time for sure. The reality is setting in now that this is a lot of work, even just to do a smaller version. I mean, that smaller version is nice up there. Shadow on her leg needs to be darker. It looks light because it's beside dark, and I can't get this as black as it is in the picture. Maybe I'll just grab Conte quick and see. See is bluer, if it helps me out. This is the blackest area. This and his hair. So a little Conte. All right. Enough of that. Got her fingers, man, they look so real. It's crazy to think, you know, these old masters working from models and not from photo like we have the luxury of today. I want to be that good. It's a long, slow, and somewhat lonely road. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave this space like this. Just trying to see where things are. There we go. She's got a little rim light on her shoulder. And he's got a little on his fingers. But it's such a small detail. So I gotta erase a whole bunch out. And then draw up to it. It's the only way to get it in there. Because the eraser's not a small pointy eraser. I like how this finger turned out at least. Does let me know that I gotta move this arm over. It's like pressing down into his head. Trees. And every one of these leaves is just on this side, just painted so well. Like, it's not like a stencil or anything. That's how I would do it today. There's tree covering her here, but have to be put on top. Okay. Find some core shadows here. Travels down the bicep. Maybe it's too far out to see the details here. It's a tree branch, but it's lighter in value. Cuts down by the elbow. Behind it is darker. It's actually the tree trunk is behind it. So we'll put that as black as we can. Okay, where her body, her hand. Okay. Just go in between a few of the fingers here. Darker. There's a hand behind his head. Let's see if we can just erase out the finger shapes a little bit. I mean, these are small little details. Two fingers beside each other. But they do have slight shadow patterns that it's nice to get. Even just a little bit. All dark here. Squint in my eyes just to make sure it's all darker. Just use more material. It's all plants and detail here, but I just can't afford to do that in this drawing. We have over an hour left, but I don't think it's enough to draw in those little things. I'd rather focus on this craziness. I'm just gonna get a tortilla or a stump out and seeing if it's practical. Oh, it is. To blend and lift any of this. So I gotta put some shadow values on the flesh so it catches a little bit under the breast, below the breast and the rib cage. The ear aligns to the belly button, which I have a little bit low here. Move it up, but there's shadow underneath that anyhow. Smudge that in there. Goes across the arm. There's a cast shadow from the hair. This one breast is catching a little light on this side. Do that by putting more dark. Might have gone a little too dark, we'll see. Okay. Over the hump now. So I'll take 5. Still might want to work this girl back here before I jump into any more of this detail. Still got a good hour here. All right. Mask. Lord almighty. What did I get myself into? Don't hate it. Don't hate it yet. Alright. Alright guys, I'm digging deep. 2 more sessions. I'll take another minute and then a little critique. Critique. Jeez Louise. Taking my glasses off helps me judge what's going on. I don't think I got it in me to talk through this, man. So much. Rough day. Whoa, comments galore. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Keith. Hiya, KTA. Wow. Okay. 6 seconds. All right. what can we do with the drunken sailor? All right. Let's pump up this jam. I'm going to put the white in because I want to see where I'm at and you know what I can do in the time that I've got. I'll take this mask off as well. Mr. Jeff Cleepus out there dropped off a lavalier mic for me, clip-on. Although I was a little chicken to use it today, but I am going to try it next week so that even when I go off to the bathroom, you'll only hear my voice. I don't know if you guys just heard that plane go over sea space, but this mic is more of a room mic. So yes, great for the ASMR today with the scrapey scrape, the scratchy scratch. But I might double it up and have a little bit more vocal in future if I decide that I keep doing the talking bit. Keep doing the talking bit. Oh yeah, white. Do what you say you're gonna do. Got a lot of different whites in this. I think last week we determined that this round one wasn't that great. So I'm gonna squint my eyes right down. Now, nothing in this is actually white. But in order to get that drawing range, I have to really, you know, open it up a little bit. So I'm gonna erase out first what I think I'll put the white on. Simplified shapes. Maybe somewhere in the face. Maybe the forehead. Nice nymph shape here. Beautiful classical Rubenesque hourglass. These girls have great meatiness. That's how I like my ladies. So I should be in shadow. Look at that. I say I'm doing white, and what do? Fall back into the trap. Okay. So directly below the armpit, we have this finger coming out. So I'm going to lighten that area too. It's not as bright as the rest of her, but we're going to overcompensate this white. So I'll even put a little bit on him. This kind of effect is like, I don't know, in Photoshop, solarize. The cloth has a little bit of, it is a white cloth, but it's in shadow for the most part, but it's silk, so there's little bits of white. And then it falls on the ground. Geez, I didn't even really notice that before. Falls on the ground behind, whereas her, so that shouldn't be that white out. Her leg, that's dark there, comes down, foot, okay. And then it tapers into the water here. This nymph is like standing on water. It's kind of ridiculous. In a lot of Bouguereau's works, you can tell that the models are on stands and whatnot, but he doesn't try to hide it. But he didn't even draw like water rippling around her feet. This foot maybe. It's catching the light. Just simplify that as well. This back one isn't. I'll leave it. A little bit dirty paper value. This forearm could catch a little light, a little white. The shoulder here could catch a little bit of the white. Squint my eyes, I don't see too much more. Maybe her arm and the sky and this leg. I mean, it looks fine how it is, to be honest. Maybe I won't go full white there. I'll lighten it, but I'm not going to go full. Just erase it a little bit. Oh, Boogie. A little bit sad because tomorrow would have been the instructor's night here with a friend of mine's pregnant, and she was going to model for us, but obviously we can't be doing that. Hopefully in the new year. She's a tiny girl, so the longer we get her closer to 9 months, the more pronounced her belly will be, because she really is quite tiny. So even at 3 or 4 months, she's not showing that much, I hear. And okay, the shoulder. The white fabric and some of her arm. All right. In all honesty, that's the value it should be. The yellow of the paper, sorry, gotta move up, I'm not paying attention. But enhancing. So, gonna go a little bit further in a value study. I wanna show 5. So, darkest, next up, there, the dirty yellow paper, and then white. That's plenty to get across what we need to in terms of a value study of the Bouguereau here. Say forehead, cheekbone, maybe a little on the nose. Squinting the eyes to simplify the light shapes. I mean, sometimes it amazes me that, you know, I even get this far in this much time, that, you know, we just draw. There's that new discovery of those cave paintings they found. I don't know if you've seen or heard about them. The fact that we can represent somewhat realistically the cave paintings on the outside wall, like they look good. Makes you wonder why we have to go this far in the illusion sometimes. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Down here it's not as bright, right? Because of the fall of light. But I am gonna put a little bit of white just to bring her more forward, just for a little bit more drama. Bouguereau did it by increasing the darks. So right at the turn here of this hip, that's where the more white is behind. Kind of drifts off into the water. There's a little bit of lights on the water too. Maybe we'll put a few in, and a few stalks of the grass are catching the light as well. So not the whole piece of fabric is light, it's in the shadow side. So we'll leave some of the yellow value of the paper. Her forearm catches the light just a little bit by the breast, framing it. I mean, that's even pushing it, I think. How about going down her forearm? And that finger. If you're working on your own copy of this, you're very brave, number one, to even attempt this. I'm feeling the pain right now. Maybe his hand is coming down here. So we'll just say finger, finger, finger. Like that. I've kind of combined this foot into just one single shape, but I'll let it catch light. Even though it's not catching the light as bright as it is, it's like the same brightness as her calf, but we'll enhance it. He's not actually white at all, but he's got a little bit of brightness on his shoulder, his back, and his arm. He's a lot more tan than these nymphs are. His skin's a little bit redder. So just get a little bit of rim here. The white fabric going around her arm. It's here, though it's not that bright. But thematically it's white, so I'll put that in there. Where else? Got the other side of her shoulder a little bit. Right, this is a rough version. Light shadow shapes. Maybe a little on this forearm. I want to put enough white in this that it's noticeable that I went through all this effort. It's also a cooler color than the paper. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. I wasn't gonna put it on this hip, but maybe just a little bit. Okay, I like where that's going. Part of the key now is going to be to not rub charcoal into the white. I'm not meaning to draw such a small detail. I do need to pull out some more darks and refined areas. So I'll do that with the nicely sharpened and This one's soft, charcoal. And I should use a crutch or a bridge. Something to protect my hand from getting too dirty. I'll use the one from last week. Okay. This girl is completely lost in the background right now. So, maybe I'll work a little bit of smaller details on her to help cut her out from the background a little bit. The dark is beside her. And honestly, all this is really dark compared. So just use the kneadable eraser here just to lift up some value to show the breast. Arm going up. There's a little spot between her neck and her chin and her face. Dare I just try to draw it how I think it is? I don't know. Dark around it. Beautiful wavy hair. There's braids in there. Not going for that level of detail today. Not today, my friends. Her ear would be here. So her hair would be bigger. And her hair does have darker value than her face and her skin. Got a lost edge right there. There's her trap. Okay. That might be enough for a background element. Put in some more dark tree value and dark value above her head. Because that's what actually shows her, you know? Maybe I can pull out a little bit of light on her hair. The hair is lighter than the skin. There's a slight rim highlight on the far side there. Okay. Just using the kneadable eraser to be a little bit more subtle. I'm not gonna worry too much about core shapes and stuff right now. It's time. Time is going away. Time is not on our side today. Give this girl her mouth though, since it is a darker value. Just to indicate a little bit of the fact that it is in fact a face. I don't even know if this charcoal is going to stay on here. There we go. We got the girl in the back. Girl in the back, a little bit darker. Always squinting down Still in the realm of pretty big shapes here though. These values up here are the same as the values of this girl in shadow down here. A little darker under her arm. And of course he's much darker here. So we'll push that darkness a little bit further. The hands are really good on this painting. The other thing about, drawing and studying your favorite paintings of the masters is you see them in a way that you've never saw them before. I mean, I've looked at this many times, but now that I'm actually here drawing this bit, it gives me a far better understanding. I have a Henry Yan drawing that I bought. I also bought one of his paintings, and I really love what his result brings, how his work looks. So I was thinking I would give that a little copy. Maybe one of these days here. Bicep. Quite a lot of shadow back here actually on this white fabric. A harder edge. We can do Christmas carols on this podcast next week. Wait. Oh wow. Mouth shape. Lip. Chin. That might be more detail than I need, actually. But it's a, it's a focal point. Some confusion down here. I think he has like a bag. That's a dark bag or something on his chest. It's not his beard, it's not his hair, but there's a dark mass here. I mean, it could be chest hair. It's gotta be a bag. So then her leg comes towards, so I'm drawing the negative space here between the fabric and then his leg. I'm squinting my eye and they're about the same value though, so maybe I didn't need to draw that at all. Got to think about sometimes these lost edges to get that painterly effect. So I'll just darken her value of her leg. We'll just have to know that that's her leg. It's slightly lighter here. Slightly. Same as down here. So I'll just use the kneadable eraser just to lighten it a little bit. And there's a cast shadow on the leg. So maybe I'll separate that out a little bit more, because that gives me some depth. They're not that far off from each other. Quite soft. down. The foot is dark on the top. Oh, I'm losing some of my details here. Hooves. I like BFK Reeves. I like Stonehenge for more graphite drawing and charcoal. Something that's cloth, so you can really beat the snot out of it and push them. This one's not, it's a smoother paper, so it's not going to hold all those small nuances I'm after. Her hair's in shadow here. Her eye, can kind of see. And then it's beside her face. That's dark. And that might be why the shoulder up here looks so pronounced, is it's got high contrast. It's got big dark beside it. Okay, going to 5. We're gonna have a little drink. Okay, that's where we're going. It's 8:20, so I'll go for we'll take 5. Go for 20 some odd more minutes just to tighten up, maybe just put some drawing parts in where I would add line, and then collar pretty much done. We need a hand over here too. Let's take a little wee break first, and I'll take a little picture for social media purposes. For people who want to flick through but not tune in. I've been sitting the whole time, but I feel like lazy here. I feel tired. I feel like I want to be horizontal. Didn't get enough sleep last night, probably. Would not surprise me. Come on. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Gotta take these mental breaks. It's healthy. All right, let's just get into this. Punctual timing. So, squinting. I'm not trying to get a huge level of detail. I feel like I'll probably draw a little bit more close. Maybe throw in some more dark shapes back and up here. Help separate this and create that big drop in value. Whoa, maybe that was a little too far. Just rub it with my finger. So much darkness around this figure. Creates that, and you know, it's leaves and stuff in here, but without darkness, we can't show light without the dark. Lighten that leg up to give more jump in value. This guy's good. He's good at the subtle. Light in here. It's like it's one leaf. It's the same value, but it's kind of like that joking fig leaf, you know, just touching her yoni, but it's in so much shadow. You can't really see anything, anyways. We'll see what these new algorithms say. Across the foot. Don't have this hand in here yet. The hand is in alignment up here. I just like triangulate or cross-reference sometimes just to make my life a little bit easier. Who knows how accurate this is today? We'll see. It's not really what I'm going for because I am simplifying the shapes. Accuracy is not, I mean, pretty close. But this was less drawing. It's more like blocking in values. So I didn't measure much. I kind of find where the center was, figured it was around here. And you know, like some quadrants, these feet travel in an angle. Just looking for those types of things. But really it's like a blowed up version of this. I don't need to draw all this grass. It's good enough. Let's see. But I will accentuate some of the drawing on here. She's so close. So that will give the illusion that I've done a lot more work than I have. I mean, at the end of the day, all this winds up being is however big your desktop is on YouTube or picture on social media of the final piece. So that's true of a lot of art. It has to look good from far away, and we lose sight of that sometimes with detail. Who knows? I might get more bang for my buck for how loose and kind of crazy this is. You know, when it gets, shrunk down or put on your screen. Whereas I'm judging it right now pretty harshly from where I'm seated. But that's also my job. I'm my own worst enemy here and hardest critic. Yeah, there's little flowers here. I'm just going to erase them in. And then the water is quite dark. Darker than her shadow. So I might have to almost make that black. Sure, there's a lot more material on here, but it rubbed off. In my original one, I started with that little rectangle. Oh, there it is. And it does seem to me that it has just mostly wiped off. This might make a really nice, not charcoal, but you know, long-term drawing. So there's a cast shadow under the foot, same as here. So I'm just looking for those areas, how the fat of this leg comes in front. It's really the shadow on the other side that brings this leg forward, but this is good enough for now. Good enough for now. Shaka cow, shaka cow. Dark actually goes lower. I have to fake that too. I'm just drawing higher areas of contrast. This is a little bit more you know, trickery than actual replication. Because I'm calling the values done where they are. So I'm just going to pick out some more dark shapes. Where I can. Only because of time now. Didn't seem like I was going to make it through this amount of time. I'm looking forward to the side-by-side comparison quickly tonight. Where else? Maybe I'll lighten this leg a little bit more. She's quite, you know, reflected light going on up there. So, just to bring this, that it's part of same girl's body. Just have a little more yellow in there. Okay, where else? Here's the dark. Oh yeah. Just a little glimmer of light in between there. Just a little glimmer. Alright, where else? A little under her arm. Right there. The other side of the elbow. The elbow's not quite high enough. Too late now, bunny. We are committed. tree branch behind her hand. Highlighting that knuckle. Oh yeah, going up to there. Ten more minutes. Little highlight underneath this elbow or this arm here. As her hair comes down, there's just a little peak of light of the background. I'm gonna lighten up some hair. Knuckles are good. Suppose I could draw a little bit more of the muscles on this guy's body. And erase out a little bit more on top of his leg. It's like a flat before it turns into fur. I love how many like textures, how different looks Bouguereau's got in this. That could be darker. So all back here is this girl. Oh yeah, that was the fingers. Behind the fingers. That's from my finger. Not good. Pull out some more lights back here. And above the forearm. I should draw the cursor from my laptop. It's a little arrow sitting right there. I did lose these misty people in the process, but hair, hair, hair. Five minutes. Just gonna erase out some hair highlights. And then that's gonna probably be her, I think. I am looking forward to going home and getting a proper sleep tonight. Okay. Let's call that quits. and do a side-by-side comparison. So I will tilt the camera up here in a second. We'll see how our values look. Sure. Whoa, come on, camera. All right. She's looking a little wonky today. So there's the screen. I made the image my screensaver. So you see, that's why you see two there. This is it here that I'm drawing from. And let's put this up the side. Just clip it. Actually, I'll clip it without the board. And I'm going to take a step back and just take it in for a minute. Did I draw the same size again? My foot's a little bit bigger. I mean, I'm not measuring off the screen or anything, but okay. Let me get you a nicer camera view here. Go a little more straight on. And there's your comments to the side, peeps. Well, I mean, it's hung a little higher up, but I'd say the proportion's actually fairly good. I didn't like this paper for this method of working, but for value study, I think it turned out pretty good. You can see how much brighter I've made the lights than they actually are. And, you know, I feel like these characters in the back might be, you know, a little bit, sizing went off a little bit. I didn't really care much for this stuff here. So I think that that's my own doing. But there she blows. I'm low on words today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And hey, microphone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And you join me again for another one of these. Oh, turn the TV off. Please share, like, subscribe, comment, all those YouTube things. I got another one before Christmas. I'm not sure what I'll do next week, or if I'll do the same thing or just something completely different. Yeah, I don't know. Miss you guys. I hope you draw along. Hope you enjoy doing these types of things and you're learning as much from them as I am. I'm going to sign off with my blacking out the screen tonight. Good night.